Hey everyone, this is Jason with Jasco Games, lead designer of Mega Man the board game and the Universal Fighting System. We're here today to tell you guys about how to play Mega Man the board game. Now, as you can see on our Kickstarter page, we have several components listed up and you can kind of see what's going to be in the game. Miniatures, board components, cards, dice, etc. Well, dice soon to come. But let's go ahead and get started. So at the beginning of the game, players are going to roll off or do some other random method to determine who's going to go first. So it looks like Mega Man's going to get the first turn. Now what we've done in this scenario, just to speed things up and get you guys kind of a more well-rounded view of the game, is we've started roll on Fireman's stage with the Iceman ability already attached. That means previously in the game, theoretically, she had already defeated Iceman and gained his powers. Where Mega Man is on Iceman stage and moving there without any Robot Master powers yet. So Mega Man's going to start his turn. At the starting of the game, everyone's going to draw 5 cards. When it's the start of your turn, you're going to draw an additional 2 cards. Now the Mega Man player is going to start his turn on the first space of the Iceman stage. This is called Sector 1. There are 5 sectors to each of the Robot Master stages. In order to see what he's going to be facing on that challenge, he's going to need to flip the token over. And this is going to tell him a few different things about what he's facing. At the top of the token, you'll see a circle with a number in it. This is going to be your action points value. This is how many actions you can play from your hand to help yourself beat the challenge, where your opponents are also going to be able to play this many action points against you from their Dr. Wily side of their cards. Below that, you have your skill check values. There's 3 different values. We'll get into that when we get into skill checks, and then there's penalties below that. You may have noticed we don't have the miniatures out on the prototype, so we're using stand-ups in place of the minis. The miniatures we do have here from Gen Con, and these are our prototype previews, they're actually smaller scale than what we'll be getting in the board game. So now getting back to the challenge, Mega Man, on his first ability, can play any of his once per turn abilities printed on his Mega Man card. Now he has 3 abilities, and they're going to have a die number to the left of them. In order to play the abilities, he discards a card from his hand with the die number equal to the ability's die number. Gabriel has decided to discard a 6 in order to add 1 die to his weapon energy. Mega Man starts with 3 weapon energy, and his weapon energy is what he uses to re-roll dice throughout the game. After the turn players finished playing his abilities from the character card, the Dr. Wily players are now going to get a chance to play action cards on the challenge. Every player at the table that isn't the turn player right now gets to play action points, up to the 6. Play is going to go clockwise around the table until no one can play any more action points or they pass. And then it'll go back to Mega Man's turn, or the protagonist's turn, to play his action points. So I have a Dr. Wily deck right here. So with 6 tactic points, I'm going to play a card that lets me add 1 level 5 minion to the challenge from my Robot Master deck. Now this is the Iceman stage, so I'm going to grab my level 5 Pang and add him next to the challenge. The card I played cost myself 5 action points to play, which leaves 1 remaining action point for any other players at the table. So with that, the remaining players at the table pass, and now it goes back to the protagonist's turn to play their action points. Gabriel's decided to spend 2 action points to draw 1 power-up card from the power-up deck. The power-up cards come up at various points in the game when you either defeat challenges or defeat minions on the stages. Every time you defeat a minion, you get to draw a power-up card. Certain stages also have power-ups built into the stage that you can draw when you pass a challenge. He drew 1 power-up that allowed him to get 1 small weapon energy. This allows him to add 1 weapon energy to his weapon energy pool. Our turn player now has 4 remaining action points, and he chooses to play Accuracy. This is, he can choose 1 minion on this challenge. That minion gets -2 to its defense. The current defense on this level 5 minion is 8, and it deals 5 damage, so now it brings the defense down to 6. The turn player now chooses not to play any more action points this turn, and he's going to go ahead and go into the battle phase. Now, before you can beat the challenge, you have to fight all of the minions on the challenge. So the turn player is now going to grab his 3 dice and roll against 2 dice for the defending player to the left, in this case to the right for the camera. Our turn player rolled 3 6s, while the defending player rolled a 4 and a 6. The defending player is going to match up as many dice to the attacking player that he can to negate those dice rolls, but it looks like the attacker still did 12 damage to that Peng. So Peng level 5 is defeated. Turn player gets to draw an action card, a power-up card, which is the big weapon energy, which allows him to add 3 dice to his weapon energy pool. So now that all the minions are defeated on this challenge, he's going to go into the skill checks. These 3 numbers on the challenge are going to be what he needs to roll to pass the challenge. If he passes 2 of these 3 numbers on his die rolls, he needs equal or higher to roll, then he'll be able to go forward 1 space. If he passes all 3, he gets to go forward 2 spaces. If he fails any of these, there's a penalty listed below. He'll get to allocate his dice to the challenge that he chooses, and any ones he fails, he will take the penalty for. Our turn player rolled a 5, and a 3. And chooses to allocate them to the first and second slot of the skill check. The third die, he may use a weapon energy to re-roll, or he can choose to fail it. It looks like he's going to discard 1 of his weapon energy to try to re-roll and see if he can get that last 5. He rolled a 4, which is good enough because now he can bump those other 2 5s over and beat all 3 of the skill checks. This allows him to move forward 2, takes 0 penalties, and the stage at the bottom right corner gets a power-up. His power-up says he gets the big life energy, allows him to gain 10 health. Well, he's at full health right now, so that won't do anything. So he'll just discard those power-ups. And as I said before, the stages can have power-up values in the bottom right corner. This number can be 1, 2, 3, or higher, and that's how many power-up cards you're allowed to draw. Now our role player's turn starts, and he'll draw his 2 cards. Now to start off the challenge, he's going to flip it over and see what he has to face. He's facing ladders with 5 action points and 4s across the board on the skill checks. It also says there's a single level 3 minion on this stage. Now this didn't come up in the Iceman stage, but every Robot Master has a unique ability to their stage. Now on the Iceman stage, anytime a player rolls a 1, it cannot be re-rolled, it's frozen. So those will stick. On Fireman stage, anytime you take damage, you're going to take an additional 2 damage. Since our role player had already defeated Iceman, he has the option to also use Iceman's special powers as his once per turn move in addition to the roll powers. Right now it looks like he's choosing to discard a 6 to play his once per turn ability, which is after you roll, you may add +1 to a die of your choice during this challenge. Our role player has decided to play an additional once per turn ability. Now he can play as many of these abilities as he can from his hand. He discards a 2, which says he may re-roll all 2s he rolls this turn. Now that the role player has played his character abilities, the other players at the table get a chance to play action points to deter him. Our first Dr. Wily player decides to play Overdrive on the Dr. Wily side. This says level 3 and 4 minions on this challenge get +2 to their defense. So that means this guy goes up to an 8 defense. The other Dr. Wily player at the table chooses to pass because he doesn't have enough points to play any more action points. Now it's going to go back to the role player. The role player has his full 5 points. Our role player plays Accuracy. It says choose a minion on this challenge, and that minion gets -2 defense. Well, there's only 1 minion, so he's going to get -2 defense, which brings him back to his printed defense. Then he plays Find a Power-Up. Find a Power-Up allows him to draw a power-up card, which gives him the bonus ball for 1,000 points. Just like in the Mega Man game, your points don't really do anything. So our role player is now rolling against the Fire Tackle level 3. He rolls a 2, and a 1. Our defending player rolls a 6 and a 3. Looks like the 6 and the 3 will cancel out both of those 2s, but he played the ability to re-roll 2s. Well, the 6 and 3 will still cancel out the 3 and the 1, which would normally make him fail this combat, but he chooses to spend a weapon energy to re-roll. This time he got a 4, which still gets canceled out by the 6 and the 3, and he chooses to spend no more weapon energy, which means he takes the 4 damage from the fire tackle plus the 2 from the fireman stage, bringing him down 6 points of damage. The character cards in the final production are going to have a spinner on the right side, so you don't have to keep track of your health in any other manner. So our role player has just rolled against the skill check and rolled a 6, a 3, and a 1. He uses his ability he played at the beginning of the turn to change his 3 into a 4, which allowed him to pass 2 of the 3. And now he's deciding whether or not he's going to spend a weapon energy to try to pass that last one, and he does not. Now, since he passed the first 2 skill check values, he does not take the penalty of the 5 damage plus 2 for fireman stage or the -1 weapon energy, but he does have to discard 1 card from hand. And now he may move forward 1 space on fireman stage. So we've given you a general overview of moving through stages. Now we're going to go ahead and skip ahead to the boss battle, where Mega Man's facing off against Iceman. When you're facing off against the boss, they'll also have abilities that they'll be playing against you. Since you are the turn player, you're going to get the first roll, which means you get to choose one of your 4 abilities. You'll be choosing 4+ to draw a card. You roll 3 dice, and every time you get a 4+, you'll get to do the ability. He rolled a 2, and a 5, which means he may draw 1 card. Now Iceman is going to play his role. He rolls 3 dice and rolls a 3, a 4, and a 4. His card says for 3s and 4s, Mega Man's going to take 2 damage each time. So that did a total of 6 damage to Mega Man. Now we're back at Mega Man's turn, and he gets to choose an ability again. He'll be doing the same ability, trying to roll a 4+ to draw 1 card. He rolls a 1, a 5, and a 6, allowing him to draw 2 extra cards. This boss battle ability is a unique ability to Mega Man that allows him to power up his Mega Buster in order to deal more damage. Iceman rolls a 2, a 5, and a 6. 1 and 2 means miss. The 5 is going to deal 3 damage, and the 6 says discard 1 card and take damage equal to the die number on the card. So Mega Man discards a 1 and takes 1 damage. So back to Mega Man's turn. He's going to go for the charge again. He rolls a 4, a 5, and a 6. This allows him to draw 3 cards. This is what he was looking for. Now on to Iceman. Iceman has a miss, 2 damage, and then again makes Mega Man discard a card to deal damage equal to the die number. This time Mega Man is forced to discard a 3 die, which deals 3 damage to Mega Man. So now it's Mega Man's turn. He's using his 5+ ability to deal 1 damage for each card in his hand, so drawing all of those cards along the way was a good idea. He rolls a 1, a 4, and a 6, dealing 7 damage to Iceman. Now it's Iceman's turn. He rolled a 4, a 4, and a 5. On Iceman's ability, that would be a total of 7 damage to Mega Man, bringing him down to 4 life. Mega Man better get some lucky rolls on this one. He's rolling for a 5+. He got a 6, a 6, and a 4. That's 14 damage to Iceman this time, bringing him down to 7. Iceman rolls a 3 and a 4. That will do the 4 damage, and then forces him to discard a card, dealing extra damage. That is going to defeat Mega Man. When you lose your life during a boss battle, you're going to be set back to the stage right before your boss battle. Mega Man is still in the game though, because his character starts with 3 lives. So now to give you another scenario, we've skipped ahead to Roll fighting against Fireman while she has the Iceman power-up. So at the start of the turn, Roll draws 2 cards. So Roll has decided to play her 4+ ability. This says, reveal your hand, deal 1 damage for each card in your hand with a printed die roll of 4 or higher. It looks like she has 3, so for 4+, she'll be doing 3 damage. She rolls a 4, a 4, and a 3, which is going to deal 6 damage to Fireman. Now it's Fireman's turn to roll. Fireman rolls a 1, a 2, and a 2, missing all 3 shots. Now Roll's going to use the Iceman ability. On a 4+, it's going to deal 4 damage to Fireman. She got a 1, a 4, and a 6, which deals 8 damage. Fireman is now at 14 life and makes his roll. He rolls a 5, a 5, and a 3. That will do 7 damage to Roll, bringing her down to 8 life. Going again with Iceman's ability on 4+, got 2 of them, dealing another 8 damage, bringing him down to 6. Fireman rolls a 2, a 5, and a 5, dealing 6 more damage, bringing her down to 2 life. Roll decides to play Iceman's ability one more time, rolling a 2, a 4, and a 6. This is going to do 8 damage, bringing Fireman down to 0 life. After you beat Fireman, you get to stack his character card under your character card, giving you Fireman's ability. So now Roll has Iceman and Fireman's ability. Since Roll is the first character to defeat Fireman on this game, he's going to take the trophy. Taking the trophy allows you to play special abilities during the game, like set your opponents back 2 spaces, deal damage, reveal their hands, and other cool tricks. So we gave you a general overview of how you fight through a stage in Mega Man the board game, a few boss battle examples. Now, obviously there's more to the game. We've got the Dr. Wily section of the board, which is a lot more difficult. Depending on how many players you have in the game is going to determine how many Robot Masters you need to beat before you can enter Dr. Wily's castle. Since this is the late beta testing version of the game, we do have a lot of components that you don't see here. Miniatures, cards, special dice, we're hoping. At least some dice will be in the game. And other add-ons. The cool thing that we're really hoping to unlock soon are the Mets, the hard hats, Pangs, fire tackles, all of the minions. Because when we get minis for the minions, we'll be able to add tokens to the back of those, and all of your challenges will be on the back of your miniature.
I'm going to take a second and talk about card pack add-ons, since we don't have those here presently. Let's say you have the Iceman card pack. When you're playing against the Iceman stage, this is going to give you advantages in addition to your normal cards. If you draw into an Iceman card, you'll have a little bit of a unique advantage on the Iceman stage. On the contrary to that, if you're playing against someone who is on the Iceman stage as Dr. Wily, you can make his stage a lot more difficult for the player. So card pack add-ons are really cool that way. Now, you don't have to have these to play. And remember, one of the recommended ways to play with this is if you just have one card pack for every Robot Master, then you can assign one to every player at the table, and they will have their advantage and disadvantage for people going on that stage, and it's still a fun way to have a fair fight without having to have every single card pack in the deck. Because honestly, if you have all 8 card packs in your deck, it's going to be really hard to balance out your deck.
So now we'd like to address some of the questions you guys have had about the components. Now, we do our best to show all the components on the Kickstarter page that we can, but it doesn't really bring across the full scale of the game. Now, as you've seen, we were using a couple of decks in the game, the 40 card decks. We also have the power-up deck, which isn't included on the components list right now, but we'll hopefully have all of this updated soon. The core game comes with 13 40mm miniatures. Now, that's a lot of miniatures for any game, larger than tabletop scale. And the deluxe bundle currently comes with 22 miniatures. You got 8 Mega Mans, 3 alternate pose Mega Mans, Dr. Light, Roll, Dr. Wily. We're about to get Met and Rush in upcoming stretch goals, so stay tuned to those. Other components, obviously, you can see here the board, what it looks like when it's being played. You've got the 8 boards, several tokens all over the place. You have your minion tokens, you have the miniatures, which unfortunately we don't have the full production miniatures yet, but you got to see some of the prototypes and we had stand-ins. And then you have the boss cards, the character cards, which the character cards are going to have spinners on them, so that's even cooler. You get to keep track of your life. And, you know, a lot of other updates.
I'd also like to point out that this is a prototype for the video, so when the production quality components come in, we're going to do another video for you guys on the full finished product gameplay video with probably more graphics and cool effects to that one, and you'll see the full gameplay components. Also, since this isn't a final production and the game won't be going into production until late February, early March, if we have any player feedback that you guys can give us to improve the game, please give that to us, and we will do our best to make this the game you guys want it to be.
So stay tuned. We'll keep you guys updated. Thank you for backing us on Kickstarter.